Hi, boys and girls, lads and lassies. Tonight I'm on my own. Maybe somebody join me later on, but tonight we're going to talk about The Little Shop of Horrors. Not the Rick Moranis one, the 1960s one with Jack Nicholson in it. This was the first time I'd seen this movie. I've had it for a wee while. I've got it as part of a set with Vincent Price and Bela Lugosi and the classic horrors, The Little Shop of Horrors. People class it as the Jack Nicholson one, which, considering Jack's only in it for a wee while, it's quite deceptive in that respect. This story has got the same story along the lines of the Rick Moranis one, but not a musical. What can you say about this movie? It's a fun movie. This movie is what you would class as perfect for a remake. The 1960s movie is, yes, black and white. It's cheaply made by the looks of it. It's overly acted. It's corny. And the acting is bad throughout. But the big difference is this is actually a fun movie to watch. Just watching this version of Seymour. He is Rick Moranis. You can understand why Audrey falls for him. You understand why he's in love with Audrey. This one, why does Audrey fall for Seymour? No idea. Roman, I prefer the Rick Moranis one, the musical. I think it's great. But considering this is the first time I'd seen it, there's certain things that I think are better. In the Rick Moranis one, you've got Steve Martin as the dentist, the psychotic dentist. And I can't even remember who actually plays the psychotic. And we have got Jim joining us. All right, Jim.
Oh, here we go. Sorry I'm late.
Not a problem. Work.
Yeah, work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say I have not had time to watch this film. I do have a few recollections, just purely from memory.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the first time I'd seen it. There is bits of recollection. I may have seen it in the past, or I may have just seen clips of it. But
exactly, we have Audrey, the plant.
Audrey, this one, it wasn't Audrey 2. It's Audrey Jr.
Audrey Jr. Yes, that's correct. And there was some cheeky, really humorous content that I remember from it, but I literally can't bring it up because I didn't watch it recently.
That's what I was saying. This movie, it looks cheap. It looks overacted. It looks badly acted. Some of the premises are laughable, but it's a fun movie to watch. Like, for instance, you've got the two cheerleaders for Seymour. They come in because they want to see the exotic plant in the window. And who designed it? Who made this plant? Seymour did. This wee geeky guy, and the two of them are screaming and giving him a kiss and cheering for him. And then throughout, every time they pop up, they're cheering for him, want to hug him and stuff like that. And you're sitting there thinking, really? But it's a fun movie. It definitely, I think the people who were playing in it certainly.
I'm definitely not putting this film into, shall we say, category of like The Thing.
Yes. Yeah, like
it's not scary that way.
And this one, you've got the narrator is one of the cops. So it starts it off, and it sounds like it's a typical old cop movie. It's almost like Dragnet. This is my precinct. This is where I work. And it's all that, and it's talking about it. But they're only in for a wee bit in pieces. And then when the two cops meet, what happened to you? Oh, I lost one of the kids last night. What happened? Fire. Oh, it's a shame. I know. these things happen. And he's talking about one of his kids dying in a fire. And he's so offhand. It's just, you're sitting there thinking, wow, it's just so, it's surreal. And considering it's about an alien, it's not even an alien plant. Obviously, in this Rick Moranis one, it's an alien plant. This is a hybrid plant that he created from seeds he didn't know where he got.
Well, 3 versions of this one, isn't it? It's the original one from the 60s.
This is the 60s one.
Yeah, and then you had the Rick Moranis sometime in the 80s, and there was
and
one
then you had the remake, which was absolutely junk.
Yes.
The Rick Moranis one is definitely my favourite. This one, it's definitely up there with some of my favourite old black and white movies. It definitely is on a rewatch list. Because I had it, as I said, I got it as a part of a set with The Bat and Bela Lugosi's Bride of the Monster. I watched The Bat when we were watching with Wendology and whose chat was that we were in? Remember they were doing The Bat? It was he did the House in the Haunted Hill as well.
Yeah, that was a while back. But
it was a while back.
Yeah,
but
they were right about it. They were definitely right about it.
Yes, but this one, it's so corny. Like Seymour's mother, a hypochondriac alcoholic. Basically everybody in, what did they call it? Skid Row? Or something like that. They basically kept saying, I mean, so you had the wee woman whose all her family kept dying. And she's basically, you can have anything in the shop for free. Can I have the till? It's just silly things like that. It was just absolutely crazy. Benji, every time I reach for the mouse, going to stop like my hand because it keeps moving the mouse. The two dogs were having issues at the weekend, so he's a wee bit clingy at the moment. So
you're not suffering the heat wave like we are down south, are you?
No, we've got rain just now, so we're okay.
That's good. I was just thinking if that made the dogs less happy. But no, I've seen
there was a third. I can't even remember it. It was that bad.
Yeah, there is a third one after Rick Moranis. Can't tell who is. I know there's another one coming after. But he didn't impress me. It didn't stick with me. It was just like.
I think it's one of the ones I started watching, and I just got bored with it and just left it, and I've not even looked at it again. But and Wendy's talking about her favourite character. Yes, it was Mr. Hyde. Correct, that's who it was. You were with Mr. Hyde when you did the Bat and stuff like that in House and Haunted Hill. But was Dick Miller doing Fouch? He just says, "I'll have a dozen carnations. Do you want them wrapped? I'll eat them here." And he goes, "I need to go. The wife's making gardenias." He just constantly. It was so surreal. He's standing there telling him all about these plant shops and all that, and he's sitting eating he's eating flowers as he's talking, and everybody just looks at him. Initially it's a case of weirdo, he's eating plants, and then it's just second nature. People are watching him, he's as he's talking, eating plants. And then when the plant women came in, what was her name? Missy, it was Hyacinth, because he kept getting her name wrong. It was something like Farquhar or something like that. I can't even remember.
It's not Farquhar from Shrek.
Feuchtwanger or something like that. Feuchtwanger. And he kept getting it wrong. Something like that. And she's going and she's touching the plant. And then she's doing that. And Fouch is actually sniffing the pen because it touched the plant. And you're sitting there thinking, this is so surreal. It is so surreal. It is fun. And that's the thing. And even the bit with the hooker, the prostitute, constantly trying to get Seymour's attention, standing there against the inmate and drops a hanky, and he just walks straight past her. Then the next bit, she's ahead of him, drops a hanky again, and he walks right past, and she goes further on, she's ahead of him again. Eventually she has to grab him. It's just funny. It's just your place or mine. Let's toss a coin. I don't have a coin. Well, picks up a brick and spits on it and goes, dry or wet side. She said, she says wet, and he throws it up and kills her. And you're sitting there thinking, this is weird, but it's fun weird. I mean, he's walking through the town, even at night, the part of Skid Row, and he's basically carrying a body and nothing.
Yeah.
It is just so surreal.
Oh, yeah, the things where he has to start to try and hide the bodies. That's even adds more to the weirdness, doesn't it?
Because the first body, he throws a brick at a bottle, and as he throws the brick, the guy stands up to pick up the bottle and gets hit with the brick, and he's woozy, and if he stumbles in front of a train. So what does he do? He doesn't phone the police. He puts the body, the bits of the body in a sack and takes it and tries to dump them in bins, but people keep catching him or scaring him off. He ends up back in his thing going, what will I do? Why did you pick the body up? And he basically just starts feeding it to Audrey. And I was just not myself throughout this thing. It's a surreal one. If you're looking for something a bit off the wall, the Little Shop of Horrors 1960 is fun.
I would definitely recommend it for just the, if you like the horror light level.
Yes.
It's definitely up your alley. Yeah, you want a little bit of shock, you want a little bit of awe, you want a little bit of horror, or a little bit of like, wow. Yeah. This one will do it for you.
As you look at all the characters, I mean, Seymour, in this one, he's a lot more clumsy, geeky. You can understand why he's put upon by everybody because he's so clumsy. Then you've got Audrey. Why?
Pee-wee small as well. He's just like, he's not the like a American football quarterback, 6'7".
But even the Rick Moranis type, he's no small. He's small like Rick Moranis' type, but he just with the hat, the scarf, he just looks too geeky, too dweeby. He's not somebody you can look. Rick Moranis, you look at Rick Moranis, apart from the glasses and he's demure. You can understand why Audrey in that version could fall for him because he's he's not a bad looking guy, but in this one, the way they've got him, you're sitting there thinking, I can understand why people pick on him because he's clumsy, he's just out there, he just looks weird. And then you've got Audrey, gorgeous woman, Jackie Joseph. And you're sitting there thinking, why would Audrey be attracted to him? Yes, you might find him charming and stuff like that, but he's clumsy, he's always getting things wrong, he's doing this.
I think it becomes part and parcel.
Classes, I can't.
Yeah, but I think it becomes part and parcel because of how the movie industry moved. Because we're talking 1960s. 1960s flat. It's not like 1969. This is 1960 with a 0 behind it. And comedy and everything started moving to, I don't even know if it's called liberation or whatever it is, but we suddenly started getting stuff like Police Academy. Women just completely randomly undressing themselves. We had Porky's 1982, silly things like that. But they were humor despite putting everything on display. And this, I believe, is the root that started it all. It's like, hey, you can be funny. You can portray the cheerleader any way you want to.
You would have the Cary Grant movies, Doris Day. I mean, you had a lot of good movies like that with a good, strong male and female cast. But this one just seems out there because so you've got Audrey.
Because
why
came
go
first
for that's what I'm saying. The characters themselves, but you've got the Audrey character. Why she would fall for Seymour. Then you've obviously got the Gravis character, the boss, who obviously does he treat Audrey like a daughter? because he's taking her out for a meal, or is he fancier?
We don't get that
You
answer,
don't
but
get that. You
it
don't
is
get
still.
either side. It's just a case of he takes her thing and he treats her well. And because she says she's always sticking up for him, so he sort of gives her a wee bit. So is it just a case of he treats her more like a daughter? There was never a I need
From my setting, he was
ignore him,
definitely too old to be someone that should be interested in her, but he was definitely interested in her.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. But it didn't come across over the top.
It didn't come across as creepy, but it did come across as too much.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, he took it the bit with the meal, and then he would let her off with, and when she would say this about Seymour, and he go, "Okay, seems it's your type thing," but it was a case of, to me, it was more when they went for the meal, and he's with a cigar. Do you want a cigar? I don't, of course you don't, and he's having a laughing joke with her. It didn't seem like it was a case of, "Oh, you need to stay away from Seymour, stay with me." It wasn't that. It could have gone either way, but it was actually, it played more like a father relationship, an uncle. Basically, somebody was looking after her because there wasn't a jealousy thing when she was acting with Seymour. So it was quite good.
They never stepped into the creepy zone.
Whereas Gravis, basically there was a silliness about it. I hate flowers and you're saying. It's just, I don't know. It was just absolutely nuts. Each of the characters had to, but even then you had Dick Miller constantly eating flowers, which surreal. Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Let's greet what was it? Kelly, Coogan, and as always, the lovely Sherry.
And Wend and Roman.
And but we don't need to greet her because she refuses to join us, so we don't need to greet her. Sorry, Wen, but you could join us every now and then. But I know you're very busy. You got your stuff you need to sort.
Wen, it's okay. I'll bounce them if you wanted to.
We love to have all and every one of you on this stream. It's much appreciated.
Yes, definitely. So, can you, based on it, right? I'm going through, the reason I'm going through characters was obviously because it's been a while since you've seen it. Just to remind you of the characters. So that's been the 4 characters. Then you had Seymour's mother, Winifred. She was one of my favourites. I'm dying. I'm this. Is this coming back? The goiter's coming back. I'm this and that, and everything is. Have you got my medicine? Aye. And she's looking at it. Can take it internally or externally. If you have an accident, phone your doctor. Alcohol contents 98%. Yes. And she's basically, and then when she's feeding him a meal, she gives him a drink. And that's the this is the doctor's medication, and this protects it cures this, cures that, cures this. Then the next thing is the soup, and she's going, wait a minute, I've got stuff to put in. So she puts a powder in. She says, what is this? Oh, it's cod liver oil and this and that, because these will do this and this and this. And then the food, and you're sitting there thinking, and then when she makes a sandwich, when Audrey makes a sandwich for Seymour, he goes, what's this? It's peanut butter and jelly. What does this cure? And I think the mother only gives him food that cures something, and he doesn't know what real food looks like. I just thought his mother was just hilariously funny in this.
Yeah, I have a vague recollection of that. But my memory is more of, even though she was really funny, she was more of an abusive parent, so to speak, not letting their child flew the coop or whatever it's called.
I think that's completely different, because there was the one bit where Audrey and Seymour are having dinner at his mother's, and Audrey says, he's not asked me yet. And the mother says, who's not asked you? She says, Seymour. He says, Seymour? Oh, no, he has to go and play the field. He has to go and sow his wild oats. And she's basically wanting him to go out and sleep around. She's quite happy for him to go out. She just doesn't want him tied down, because he can't get married yet because he promised me an iron lung.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where the hostage thing comes in.
But that's what I'm saying. It shows it wasn't the abusive way that way. It was a case of she just wants him to go out and enjoy himself. She just doesn't want to be tied down because she still wants him to pay for things. And I just thought she was hilarious in that respect. Yeah. And then you had the two cheerleaders, Shirley and Shirley's friend, as they were called. You didn't really get the name of the second one. The two of them. The plant. Who did the plant? Oh, it was Seymour, and they were crowding around him, hugging him, kissing him, and cheering for him. And every time he appeared, they would, "We want to see more!" And you're sitting there thinking, really? It is so surreal. Everything that happens in it, you're just sitting there going,
really?
Really? And it's not. You remember that one, that director, the guy, actor and director, he couldn't act to save himself. Did, and everybody laughs about, I think it's called Rooftop or something like that, and there's always clips of it because the acting is so bad. It's hilariously bad. It's so badly acted and directed and everything. It is hilarious to watch it. This one's not like that. The acting is not great, the premise is not great, but it's fun. It's not bad fun, it's just fun because the actors overact. Jack Nicholson as the Wilberforce. Wilberforce what? No, it's Wilberforce. My first name's Wilbur, my second name's Force, and I don't have a middle name. And you're sitting there thinking that whole explanation meant nothing. But it was just, and he's oh no, we don't want to use that dulls the senses, and you know, just take that one out, drill that one. You're only going to drill one. Can you not drill them all? And there's teeth missing. Oh, that was the best one. He's reading all the bits about things happening. I remember that from the Steve Martin scene in the original, and I can't remember who played the guy who. Oh, one more. Could you not do this? Because Steve Martin played the psychotic one, whereas this one, the psychotic dentist, is already killed, and it's Seymour that does that to him. I think the Rick Moranis version, where it's the dentist who's a psychotic and just wants to hurt people, and he loses it because the guy likes to be hurt. And Rick Moranis,
he's responding back that he likes to be. He actually enjoys it when it happens bad.
That's what I'm saying. So with the Steve Martin, I'm trying to even remember who it was. I keep on thinking Bill Murray or somebody like that, but it wasn't.
No, it's closer to Steve Martin and Bill Murray, but it might have been someone that is in between that range.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, Little Shop of Horrors. But
I'll let you hunt down for that because I just literally ran home, jumped into my seat, and we have a heat wave here, UK. I may need to change a few things.
You have a heat wave. I'm wearing a fleece. It's raining up
here. Yeah, you're not belonging to UK, and besides, you guys want to leave anyway, don't you?
Yeah, this is Scotland, right? So
I'll be right back.
The Rick Moranis one, the one who played the Arthur Denton, Bill Murray played. So I think Arthur Denton was the guy. So it was Bill Murray that played the guy. Go, oh, could you take that one out? And I think that scene worked better with Steve Martin, whereas in this one, you've got the psychotic dentist. You know what I mean? He's going, I'm glad I hurt you because you didn't pay your bill and come back here. And he's pulling out people's teeth. And as the guy's going, oh, that's so. And he's going, look there. And he's looking and he's drilling into the other side without help. He's just, you can see the fun on it. Oh, you didn't give me my plants? Sit down. We're going to do you. It's still the guy who played the doctor is Doctor. I keep on going to say Dr. Fouch because he was a psycho. It's not who I meant, honest, Gov. It's not who I meant at all. What was his name? Doctor what? Come on, what's his name? Dr. Phoebus. Phoebus, I think it was. So he was a psycho, but you could see he was overacting, and he seemed to enjoy himself overacting, and that seemed to be more a case of here's your lines, You choose how you're going to do them. This is the type of character you're going to be. We want you to be somebody that likes causing pain. And the guy just seemed to go overboard, and it was fun. And I think that's the thing across the board with all these people. So you had the dentist, you had Jack Nicholson playing the Wilberforce, which I thought Jack Nicholson actually played it so well. And he reminded me of a character. And I wish I could remember the cat. It was almost a Peter Lorre type character, almost very subdued about it, but just talking very quiet. Oh, I really like that. Could you really try that? Could you? But Peter Lorre never played a psycho like that, but he just had that access and the way he talked. It just seemed to be a case of you could just imagine him doing the "oh please, that's so fun," and it's just because Peter Lorre's monotone, the way he could deliver things. I think Jack Nicholson played it quite well. It was understated, which made it work because he wasn't obviously over the top. Oh, I'm a psycho, please do this, please do that. It was almost a case of, oh, I don't mind pain, and no, not to have any of that, the Novocaine, because that just dulls the senses, and you could hear the smile as he's talking, and I think it just worked so well. And even the director of, what was it? The director of the Quiet Plant People or something like that. She's very opportune, over the top, and playing it this way and that way. And each of the characters just sort of played it over the top. And that's why I think it was done in the cheap. These were all new actors, or it was some of them just got the job because maybe somebody says, that's my niece, that's my sister, that's my cousin. Just bring them in and right, just do act like this, and they'll let them overact. And that's why I'm saying it looked that way. It was overacted. Some of the acting was really bad. They couldn't act to save themselves. Some of the dialogue was dire, but it was done in such a way, it seemed to be done with love, not just a case of somebody who thinks they're great and they're overacting sardonically. They're not doing it. They think they're projecting themselves and they're doing it really well. These guys just seem to be, I'm having fun doing this, let's do it. And I think I can understand why they remade it, because it is technically it's a bad movie, but it's not bad as in it's a dire movie. It's just, you can see the early stages of people's careers, or people just doing it just because maybe they get brought in because it's my niece, my cousin, that's the director's daughter. I don't know. I've not looked into too much for that. It just had the impression I had with the way they were acting. It's almost like you can imagine with, why is that person in the thing? Oh, don't worry, just we'll fix it in production and stuff like that. That's what it came across, but it didn't come across as bad for it. It just came across as everybody having fun doing it. And I must admit, it made me enjoy it more. Because as I said, that was the first time I'd seen it, and I sat and watched it twice, and I enjoyed it both times. I enjoyed it so much that I didn't even take notes of what were the bad parts. Normally I do watch once in the background, just to enjoy it, not thinking about it. Second time I sit and watch it and think, that didn't work, or that didn't work, or that's really good, or that's bad, or that's it. And all I could think is, overacting, dialogue's gone. But I was enjoying it to the point I didn't care enough to actually say, oh, that was bad, and I think that bit was really done. And all I could think is, I was comparing it to the Rick Moranis one and thinking, yeah, the Rick Moranis one did it a bit better, but I could see where they did this, and I could see how the Rick Moranis took that good idea and just tidied it up a bit. And I think that's what it is. They didn't completely remake it. What they did was they took the story, they kept majority of the story, and they just tidied up here and there. Like in the Little Shop of Horrors, the Rick Moranis one, I can't remember his mother. in that. I don't even think they mentioned his mother outside the shops, because it was all to do with in the shop and stuff like that. So you didn't meet his mother and stuff like that. You did see the dentist because they kept that bit in. So there's certain bits they changed, but I think it wasn't bad. It was fun.
That is why I keep referring to when I watch things, and I'm trying to find a good example here, which might be actually Babylon 5. If you look at the actors, Peter Jurassic in particular, because he's my favorite, he looks like he's having the time of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Portraying John
Londo Mollari.
Yes. It looks like he's having the time of his life. That is what I want out of a film.
There's Londo there.
Yeah. But that is what I want out of a film.
Yeah.
That is why Boss Level and these recent ones that we have found, we can tell the actor is enjoying being there. It's not just that they're reading off a teleprompter. And I think this, and we're talking, what was 60, that 1960s, that's 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had the same feeling. They stepped on set and they loved being there. And you can tell when someone is just going, Mr. President, the planet is going to die. Yep. And then you have someone going, Mr. President is about the size of Texas. He will wipe out the life on planet as we know it. It is that quality.
Mm-hmm.
You have someone that loves playing that role, loves stepping on set, doing that very particular thing.
That's what this movie came across as a load of people enjoying it. To me, do you know what it would have been like? All these people together on a stage play, enjoying making a theatre production. But what they've done is say, right, take it out, and what we'll do is we'll do it in film. And so that's why you get the overacting part. Maybe these are all people who have been in theatres and they brought them in because it's done in the cheap, as in there was no big actors. Some of them have gone on, like Jack Nicholson and Dick Miller. They're probably the two most well known of the rest of the cast, because Dick Miller's been in a load of stuff. I recognised him when he came in as Fouch, and obviously Jack Nicholson. We all know Jack Nicholson, but I just think it's just one of those ones that I cannot recommend highly enough. But don't expect Shakespeare in the Park. Don't expect a top quality acting. Like you're not going to get a who played the Joker? Keith Ledger. You're not going to get that quality of acting across the board with all these people, but you're going to get fun acting, and I think that's a good way of doing it. It's fun. Watch them having fun with it.
That's what I mean about it. And a lot of actors, I remember reading this donkeys years ago. It is actors saying, I love playing the bad guy because it gives me so much free reign. As in, you're bleeding out, you're going to die. Don't care. Just having that casual, like rubbing the shoulders, like, don't care about you. You're not important. You're bleeding out. You're gonna die. Don't care. Yep. And being that disconnected, because most artistry, I believe, is connecting to humanity, but playing a bad guy is disconnecting from humanity.
Mm-hmm. And then they have the good guys try to be the bad guys. Whereas Seymour, he's the one that accidentally kills people. Even Gravnik actually killed someone, but he killed someone who
exactly. But that's more the accidental one, and then you actually have to play with the material you have, and it's like it's a good guy. Oh crap! Someone died. I do care about the bad stuff, but you play that intersection between yes, this is a really good guy caring about. Hey, that was not a good thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying about how sometimes I was saying it's they overacted, but there was sometimes the acting was bad. Like for instance, when Gravnik saw Seymour feeding the body parts to Audrey, then he was going to phone the police. He came in, he saw the money, he saw the crowd, and he walked in. Audrey says, "We've already got $85." And we've only been open less than an hour, and so he's thinking all this money, thousands of people coming in. So what does he do? He grabs Seymour and he starts saying, "I saw you. What does he eat?" and stuff like that. So effectively saying, "I saw you feeding him a dead body," and it's almost like a case of Seymour's going, "Don't worry about it. It's not." And you're sitting there thinking, he felt so guilty that the person died. Now he's actually completely forgot about it, doesn't care. And it shows you the disconnect part of what I'm saying is there wasn't a case of, I know it was an accident and I didn't know what to do. And then obviously the way I got into the body, it helps the thing. I feel guilty about it, but I didn't kill him. He died in an accident. I just used his body. But there was a disconnect, so that's what I'm saying. The acting was bad because there was no continuity part about it. But it wasn't. It didn't take you out of the story. It didn't take you out of the story.
Something we reviewed recently is Tucker and Dale. They didn't kill anybody. There was just a lot of people dying around where they had a cabin. It's that kind of level of thinking, adding surprise shock to the intended humor, the intended comedy.
Yeah.
And it just works great when you're allowed to actually play with it. And this is one of the films, because he was allowed to play. We were talking 1960s. Consider all the was it the mature ratings and everything, British Film Associations, but even American Film Association, whatever they call it,
on comics and everything.
Yes, but they didn't understand that. Hey, we're actually playing with serious topics in a creative way, still letting you understand that this is not a nice thing. But you're giving a little bit of a chance to root for, shall we say, the little guy.
Yeah.
Especially in Rick Moranis' case, because I don't know how tall he is, but he's like 5 foot.
Something like that. So, and I think this Seymour was small as well. So, but he was a lot. He looked weedier within it. But I don't know. There was some things like what was the part I really enjoyed, which I thought was weird. Oh, aye. Where feed me. No, you're getting nothing else.
Feed
Sleep.
Me.
Wake up and do it. Yes, master. And it's a case of you basically went sleep. Now go and get me food. Yes, master. You're going. Huh?
I think the Yes Master is actually a meme still surviving to these days, and people have never seen the original content.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
Master.
what I'm saying is, if Audrey could do that, then she could have says to anybody, sleep. Stand over here. You know what I mean? So basically, it was a case of sleep. Now go and kill somebody for me. And he's walking about going, it's almost a case of where do I find a body? He just got told to go get him food. Where do I get food? Oh, do you want to do it yourself? Your boss, my boss would like you. Oh, I wouldn't mind that. Oh, you're volunteering. Come back with me. And it's a case of it was inconsistent, but it was inconsistently fun, and it was The whole premise of this thing is surreal. It's surreal all the way through. Is it a horror? Technically, very technically, because
Yeah.
it's basically a plant eating people. So technically, it's a horror. But is it actually horror? No, it's a comedy. It is a dark comedy, but it's still a
The
comedy.
only way I would say that is evil in any kind of sense.
No, see, I
is
didn't say
that
evil.
Audrey
You can have a
is
horror. You can
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
but,
horror.
but I was trying to say that Audrey, keep forgetting exactly which one it is, but the plant is very malicious toward
Yeah.
her host. It's like,
Yes.
feed me.
Yep.
That is the darker part of it, but that is the only darkness I can find. Even in the first one, the second one, and the third one, I'm still trying to struggle to remember which one it is.
Happy, never. I'm trying to let's see if I can find the name of the new one, because when the new one and who was in it. So
As long as it is not a Disney Plus film, I'm happy for it.
I'll need to bring my mouse.
But even so, it's the original ones they had, and they carried a very dark message.
Scarlett Johansson was in it. Little Shop of Horrors.
Wow, that's like made in the last 6 years or something.
That's the
She's
one.
a baby.
That's the one that's in in just now. That is in production, I think. The Little Shop of Horrors is going to have
Right, I'm quitting the stream. If we have a 2022 release of it, I'm out.
There was one in 1961, 1986 was the Rick Moranis.
And then there should be something.
And then there's one, it's just got Little Shop of Horrors, Taron Egerton and Scarlett Johansson, but there is no other details, so I think it's in production.
Egerton, isn't that the guy that did Kingsman and everything?
It's in development.
Yeah, that must be something coming out soon.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not the one keeping up with the news and everything, because I just go, it's like, this is far too depressing. But even so, really? There is no need to remake Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. Well,
because it is a studio theater play. It's already been captured well on the camera with Rick Moranis and the guy before that made the original one. I keep forgetting.
I think they might have renamed it. They didn't call it Little Shop of Horrors, but it was a remake of it. Because apart from the 1986, there was a TV episode, Little Shop of Horrors. So there was. Maybe that's what we were thinking. Because there was Little Shop of Horrors was a TV show. Maybe that's the one we were thinking of.
Oh, don't think I called that one. But Roman in the chat was saying, I saw Chris Evans and Roman does not approve of him. Maybe in the new one.
As well. Yeah. Rubbish. It'll be rubbish. There was also Little Shop of Horrors 2019. 2009 horror kung fu theme. Little Shop of Horrors, it was called. That was a TV episode, a TV show. And it's just the same premise, but it is. I can't find anything about the other one. They may have actually just remade it, but it's got a different name. Maybe that's what the problem. I can't find it on IMDb. But there is one in process, the Little Shop of Horrors remaking. It's in development with Scarlett Johansson in it. So there's another one that I'll be avoiding. but I don't know. It's just I can't
Dodge,
recommend
dip,
this
duck,
enough.
dive, and dodge.
Dodgeball.
Yes, Rip Thorn. May
Yes, they
Rip
are doing
Thorn
another version of
rest
this.
in peace forever, because I loved him whenever he stepped in, because he added humor.
Yep.
And he was one, even if it was a crappy script, if you brought him on board as a comedian or a joker or a funny plot, he could always deliver.
Yep.
But I
Definitely.
did love him in Dodgeballs, because
Yeah. But
that
I
was a great
definitely
one.
would recommend Jack Nicholson's Little Shop of Horrors. Although Jack Nicholson's Little Shop of Horrors is a misnomer. Because Seymour, because if you're going to say Rick Moranis' Little Shop of Horrors, Rick Moranis is Seymour. And so he's the main character. Whereas in this, you've got Jonathan Haze as Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
So calling it, everybody calls it Jack Nicholson, because we know why. Because Jack Nicholson's the biggest name that came out of it. So they're going to put the biggest name on it. I can understand why they did it. And he doesn't, it's not as if he plays a blink and you miss him 2 seconds. He plays in The Dentist and he's good in it. He's really good in it. He just plays one of those characters where everybody's overacting. He's underselling it to the point it's really good. Whereas there's very few Jack Nicholson movies I like, because I think he acts the exact same way in all his movies. In certain movies, it works for his personality. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of them, right? However, in this one, he's not playing himself, and it works. And you can understand based on this one why he started getting roles, because he was so good in it. Where everybody else seems to be overacting, he was underplaying it to the point it actually it made it rise up, and it was fun. It was hilariously funny. I definitely recommend this to anybody. Has anybody seen this one? I know Went has. I know I have just now, because it was when recommended it, and I know
You're telling me there is a horror show that Wen has not watched?
No. No.
And yes, when I'm calling you out because we see you on the Discord chats, very unfiltered, but we do know that you have a very penchant for the horror ones.
Yeah. When it comes to classic horrors, Wen is someday actually, as you can see by a Little Shop of Horrors, it was Wen's recommendation. It's superb. And I'm so glad. Next week, however, is going to be Shawshank Redemption.
And this is the kind of film I am very much in favor of.
Yep, it's one from your list.
And so I know it's not necessarily down your list, but you do appreciate them.
I've seen it a couple of times because my wife loves it, so I've seen it. It's a
but
good movie.
You don't like the whole thing of heroes or hero companions dying. Yeah. You don't like that part. But I like Shawshank Redemption for sticking to its premise, for its age, for when it came out, that it isn't over the top with, hey, this is bad. They play the music, they show some sad footage, they don't show the bad things happening.
Yes, but the thing is, it depends on the genre. If I'm watching a superhero one, then not interested in all the darker side. If I'm watching something which is a dramatization of a prison drama, then yes, I'm fine with that. However, we will look at it for next week.
Shawshank Redemption was my favorite. And here's the kicker. Shawshank Redemption released and came out at the exact same time as Forrest Gump. Now, Forrest Gump got all the attraction of Oscars and everything, but 29 years later, or whatever it is now, Shawshank Redemption is the highest rated film on IMDb from an audience score, because it is just that great. Because Forrest Gump is amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely amazing.
See, the thing is, there you go, right? You look at it, go back 30 years. We'll just go back 30 years, right? So you're talking about the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could mention a load of movies there and you go, seen it, really good, seen it, really good, seen it, really good, seen it, really good. Now do that for 5 years ago. Seen it, it was okay. I've not seen that one. I've not even heard of that one. I've not seen that one. No, I think I've seen that one. I didn't like it. And that's the difference. There's a load of movies, 60s, 50s even, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. People can mention a number of movies. If somebody mentioned every movie that came out over those decades, it'd been at the top 100 from each of those decades. People will probably have a good 60 or 70 they've seen, and the other 20 they've heard about. However, the problem is nowadays you can't even remember movies from last year because they're forgettable now. Because as they say in the other channels, they're just content. They're not movies. They're not there to keep you entertained. They're there to say, at least you've got something to watch.
Buy our tickets. Buy our tickets. And this is the one thing, because I still like the whole. I don't know if it's like the market of free ideas or whatever it is. The younger colleagues I work with, I've advised them to watch the older films, the prequels, or the first films that actually spawned whatever they like today.
They don't want to. That's the thing.
They don't want to, and then they just go and it's like, oh, that's a really amazing film. I'm just going like, really?
See, it's not. Do you know why they don't want to? Give you an example with, as I said, one of my nephews was telling us about The Mandalorian's the greatest TV show he has ever seen. And I says, really? Compared to the classic Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back,
fair enough. He's your nephew. He hasn't been alive long enough to actually experience something.
And do you know he said what he said? He says, no, because those characters weren't any good, because the new characters showed what they did wrong. So in effect, what they did now has sullied what they did then. So the goodness that the characters did to get there, well, the new movie showed they were bad doing that. And that's what he's seeing. So he doesn't want to watch it because Han Solo was a bad dad. So he was bad. So why should I watch? And that's the attitude. Whereas
how was ever Han Solo a bad dad?
No, but the thing, because the new movie had him as a bad dad, he left. And that's why Kylo Ren was like that. But what I'm saying is, it's that type of thing. What they do to destroy the characters, people don't want to go back, because all they think is that if you say Luke Skywalker was great because he had the arc, nah, Luke Skywalker, look what he did today. So all those earlier movies completely crapped on because Han Solo, Luke Skywalker in this movie's crap, so he must have been crap in those, and that's what they're doing. So dislike it immensely, and I hate it when they do that.
I think it's a big misunderstanding there, but then again, I do understand it because, hey, believe it or not, I once, a very, very long time ago, was a teenager, and I swore that I wanted to kill my dad for telling me to actually behave properly.
We did that.
It was like, get the F out of my face. I'm gonna kill you. I will rip your throat out. And then my dad just went, well, because I'm old enough. My dad just went, and then I understood. Oh, okay, I might actually have to take out the rubbish and the stuff I need to do. It wasn't that brutal. I will give that, because this is on internet forever. But it was literally my dad just put his foot down. It's like, Pam, like, no, you do this, you do that, you do this, and if you want fun, you clear that out, and then you go fuck off and have fun.
Right. Roman's saying in the last few years there may have been one or two good movies. The one movie I liked last year was Boss Level. Free Guy was okay.
Yeah, Boss Level was better.
Boss Level was superb. I enjoyed it. That was recommended to me to watch an old guy looking at new movies. Boss Level.
But I will give this. I'm partial to Boss Level because
smeg off.
Smeg off. But Boss Level was going down the route of Groundhog Day and all of that, the repeat and everything.
Yep.
But
Groundhog Day meets John Wick.
Exactly. That is a perfect description of it. But it did allow Frank Grillo to play a father to his own son, despite him being ostracized, removed from it. And this is a scenario that is far too underreported. Fathers should be allowed to have a connectivity with their kids. And he's using that time travel loop. Yes, he's fucked up before he gets into the loop. He wasn't there. He didn't listen to his wife, his ex-wife, whatever it was, that he should have been there for his kid. But he's using that time travel loop to actually connect with his kid. Yep. And that's what I think it is. A really good film showing that, hey, you're stuck. You can't solve the problem. Why don't you connect with your kid? Yeah. And he did.
But that's what I'm saying. There's very few movies like this. There's one we're talking about, which is 62 years old. And it's still fun to watch, even though it's not the greatest made movie. It is still better than any of these big budget 300-400 million movies with all these big stars. You can guarantee that when this was made, the stars that were in it weren't big stars, and a couple of them went on to have a bigger career. One of them went on to be one of the tops in Hollywood at the time, Jack Nicholson, but you had Dick Miller, who's been in a load of things. A couple of the other ones, you probably have seen them here and there, but you probably don't recognize them because they're not as big. However, the quality of this does not distract from it. It's still a good story, and it is still played for fun. And the biggest compliment I can give it is it's bloody entertaining.
I see it from shall we say more, because I hate what the cancel culture, whatever you want to call them, is doing. If you tell a story well enough, it will carry through generations, divisions, and everything. Think back to what's his name, Scott something that did
Scott
Gladiator.
Pilgrim.
No, not Scott Pilgrim. Scott something, Scott Abrams or something, doing Gladiator. What we do in life echoes through eternity.
Yeah. I've not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I have. It's newer movies. I know very rarely I've seen any of them.
Yeah, so, but it is a whole thing. It's you and I grew up with, say, MacGyver and A-Teams.
MacGyver, A-Teams, The Persuaders, Space 1999.
But that was fix the problem. Don't just like tell everybody else to run in and do something.
But that's what I'm saying. See, nowadays, that's why I don't like nowadays, is because the people who are making it don't know shit. They don't know what a hero is. They don't know what a villain is, because they think their villains are their heroes and their heroes are their villains, because they've got zero morals, they've got zero life skills, most of them. They don't understand it. So basically, somebody telling them no, they're a villain. Somebody telling them, aye, whatever you want to do, go and do it, they're a hero.
Well, I mean, these people today, I would not expect them to actually say no to someone like Audrey.
Oh no! See, the thing is,
they would literally have no willpower to say no whatsoever.
Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference? What my predictions for the one that's in development? Seymour is the evil genius who created it, and Audrey, not Audrey 2, Audrey it's been her DNA that he's taken to create the plant. That's why it's called Audrey 2. And it'll be Audrey who'll be the one that's trying to protect people from it. And it'll be his sick mind that's actually dreamt up this plant monster because he tried to mix this and Audrey to create him, and Audrey, and he ended up creating the plant monster, but his psychosis and the dead. Apparently a penny it's down that route, as in Seymour is now going to be the villain of the piece and Audrey is going to be the hero of the piece. And
I mean, I'm exhausted after a
long day at work.
12 hours. Well, okay, I did join the show as quickly as I could. I did skip a little bit of, shall we say, homework.
Yeah,
which I needed to do, but
that's the way it goes.
I've been up for about 14 hours, a lot of work and everything, so I'm tired on that bit. But
we will
have the feeling that
we will
balance.
We'll wrap it up. Don't worry about that, because
yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I think I have energy, but I'm going with I'm trying to explain it as nicely as possible, because I do not wish to discount, shall we say, the cancel culture people.
I just think
because the only way to actually make them understand is bring them on board. This is what Peter Parker was. This is who Bruce Wayne is. This is who the Joker is. This is how Harley Quinn was before. Bring them on board to the geek culture.
The problem is
having
when
the energy to
people, their attitude is whatever you say is wrong. So no matter what you say is wrong. So that's why I just ignore them. I just don't care. Don't care enough. I don't want to bring them on. I don't want to throw them out. I just don't care enough about them.
See, I'm still young enough, and
whereas I'm a grumpy old kid.
Even though it's drooping down,
I'm
still thinking I can take him on and just go and it's like, hang on, you consider that character XYZ ist. I still think I can bring you forward to understand that no, there is complexity to the bad guys, to the good guys, to the middleman. Oh crap! I just dropped his name. The police commissioner Gordon something in Batman.
It's Commissioner Gordon. Aye.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon. He's neither superhero nor supervillain. Understand that he's not bad, not good.
The problem is you're never going to, because closed mind people don't change their mind.
I still think you can kick the shells enough to bring out at least a few of them.
Yeah.
Because the more that gets stuck in the shell, we don't want that.
But anyway, we'll finish there. What we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, Jim, what would you give this out of 10?
I had to play out of memory, but what I remember is, and I'm playing toward a time rather than this is 2022, where the film came out, the daring jokes, the funniness, and we tried to push limits. This is a 9.0 film for me, because you have an amazing scene or set where it's just a single human playing against just like paper wrapped tentacles moving around, trying to talk to a plant. But he does it so well, it becomes believable. So it's a 9.0 from me, because even though they enjoyed having fun, it was a little bit of goof off, the delivery at the end of it is almost stellar. And 9.0 means I will watch it again.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would give this an 8.5. It has got its problems. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it is overacted. It is done in the cheap. It has got some really cringy dialogue, but it's entertaining. It's funny. It keeps you enthralled. It is a good movie. You can see its age. And truthfully, when it comes to humour or whatever, I don't care. So I'll watch something that I like. I don't care when it was made. So I will watch it and not think, oh, that joke's wouldn't land today. That joke wouldn't land today. Sorry, if I like it, I like it. I don't care, because I don't care. I don't judge things in how what people now would think about something that happened 60 years ago. I just think about it based on what I find funny. Because when it comes down to it, nobody's going to tell me what I find funny and what I should find funny or what I don't find funny. I find it what I find good, and I tell you what I find bad. But we'll not talk about the Orville if we're talking about what I find bad. That's another story. But I would definitely give this an 8.5. I will watch it again. I am happy I got that, because believe it or not, these three movies I think I've seen way in the past. They've been on the TV at times. This one watched for the first time properly yesterday. This one I watched for the first time properly in probably about 30 years, when I was watching with Wendology and Mr. Hyde. This one I'm going to watch. This is on my plans for next week. So it is Bela Lugosi, Bride on a Monster. Because I'm saving all my horror ones. I'm going to save them for Halloween, because I got my Frankenstein box set. I'm been keeping that aside for Halloween. And I want to watch ones like this. I've got this, and I've got Bela Lugosi with Abbott and Costello. I've got a few other old classic horrors that I'm going to be watching over the next couple of weeks. One a week leading up, so I can watch a load of them. So I'm glad.
You're making me feel old now. It's like we're mid-July, and you're already thinking end of October.
Yeah, well, can't help myself. So basically, when it comes to old, already been there. Got the t-shirt.
So I do apologize for using the word old. It's supposed to be classic.
Yes, I'm not old. I'm classic. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Remember, for the like, share, and subscribe. Feed me. Feed me.
Feed me.
Feed me now. No, that's a different movie. That's the next movie. But yes.
But let's promo the next one. I think what we have coming up for next Wednesday is Shawshank Redemption.
The Shawshank Redemption, and that's going to be for next week. So we can all enjoy it. Wendology probably won't be with us because I know it makes her upset. So I can understand if she ain't going to watch it. Because
Still, it got Tim Robinson and Morgan Freeman.
it's got Morgan Freeman
And
in
it's
it.
got
The
Tom
only thing, Tim Robinson, I
Clancy.
didn't care about his character. Morgan Freeman always gets me in with Morgan Freeman, and it is just classic.
Yeah, it has so many, despite its early age. This was 95, wasn't it? So you have Morgan Freeman, Tom Hanks, sorry, not Tom Hanks, Tim Robinson, and his name just slipped. He's basically Sergeant Sim from Starship Troopers.
Oh yes, I know what one you're talking about. The Chisel Jaw one. Oh, I can't even remember his name off the top of my head.
No, it is an amazing film, but we literally steamrolled.
A wee can of soda.
Johnny Rico, I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
But it is. No, it is a absolutely amazing one. It's clever, subtly played, whatever.
Yeah.
So please do join us for next Wednesday when we will cover that one, because I don't know how my work will be, which is why I'm late and a little bit exhausted. And
yes, thank you, Darren, for joining us just before leaving, and Cam, I know you've been listening in the background. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Just as we're leaving, ladies and gentlemen, I know it was a fairly short one, but this movie, you need to see it. You can talk about some movies and talk about them because I've heard a lot of things about a lot of movies, and I could understand. I think that movie's okay, that's like me, but this one is one, no matter what good or bad people say about it, it's one you need to see. Especially if you loved the Rick Moranis one, you see where it started.
Yes.
This is a fun movie, and you can understand why they remade it, but you can also see how they've left parts and how they've enhanced parts. So it is the very good start of a movie type. I mean, they've taken a good movie, they've taken a fun movie. I wouldn't say a good movie, I would say a fun movie. And what they've done is they've enhanced it by making it a musical and tidying it up and making it a bit tighter. So
that is when the entertainment industry was good.
Yeah, they knew
we have a hit. We can condense and bring things to life.
One of my other ones
for the audience.
One of my other ones I liked that they did the same thing. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They remade it, but they remade it in such a way that it could have been a follow-up to it. But it's effectively the same story. All it is in a bigger location. So instead of a wee village, it's in a big city. However, it could, and they changed slightly characters. So in effect, they remade the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and what they did was they improved on parts of it and made it tighter, but they didn't do it in a way that made the older one bad. And I think Little Shop of Horrors didn't do anything to make the Little Shop of Horrors 1960 bad. It is just what it is, and it is fun. So we'll finish up there. Thank you all for sticking with us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I know I never say that, and I keep forgetting. I've just been watching ones, and everybody says it at the beginning, but I never say it. I'm too busy enjoying myself.
I will push in one thing. If you thought our show was actually poop, do give the thumbs down, because that tells us this was not a good one. We need to up our game. We need to get better.
I'm enjoying myself too much to actually promote myself.
Well, that's why I'm trying to have this. Well, I can't even find the button anymore, but that's why I have the please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, I've got it running.
We're happy to have you here because the chat is always awesome, and I'm feeling a little bit guilty because I can't keep up with the chat. Because sometimes it's like 60 messages just like blows past, and I was like going, what the heck am I supposed to be reply to?
Yeah. So, but definitely. But thank you very much for everyone for joining us. No, that's for Saturday streams. It can go on for 5 hours. Saturday streams is the longest Saturday stream was 5 hours 58 minutes. We were just shy of 6 hours on a Saturday stream, but we've all got work
You
in the
just
morning.
said that like it's like a challenge now. We need 5 hours 59 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Basically,
don't think I'm young enough to keep up with that.
The problem is Jim and I've actually had a long day as well. So we've both had a long day, and it's work tomorrow. So yes, this is Benji. He's the pain in the butt one with anxiety issues and
he's been requiring quite a lot of attention this evening.
He's got anxiety issues, and he's always like that to an extent, but that's what he's up.
Is he all right? Because I saw you cradling him for about.
Okay, two of them were actually had a incident with the two of them were not great this weekend, but they're okay. But he is always Mr. Licky. He basically can't do without attention. So
okay, yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Benji. This is Benji. Buddy's lying over there sleeping. Ain't you, son? You're not sleeping, but you're lying over there. So we'll finish off there. Buddy's not going to come out. He's too busy actually being lazy. I appreciate that. I've trained him very well. He's been watching me. So remember, I ain't old. I'm classic. From myself and Jim, don't have a little shop of horrors. Have a fun night. So Benji, every time I touch my mouse, Benji keeps on belting my arm.